Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel where we are focusing on learning data science with Python. And today we are going to be coming from the statistics playlist. The statistics with Python playlist is a playlist where you are going to find us explaining statistical concepts using Python. And today what we're going to be explaining is mode, right? The mode in statistics. So the first thing we would like to know is, so what exactly is the mode? Now, three basic things jump out when we are talking about central tendency. Using central tendency is trying to understand the distribution of data. Now, three things jump out. We look at the mean, which we've explained in the, if you go back to the video on mean, you're going to see the explanation for mean. And we're going to look at median later, but now we're going to be looking at mode. Now, the mode identifies the value that appears most frequently in a distribution. So here, mode identifies the value that appears most. In a distribution, right? And so what we're going to do is that we're going to look at this writing Python code. Now, you might want to know what is the intuition. Now, it gives us a sense of the most typical or common value in a distribution, and that code, for context, makes sense if we are doing like market research or looking at a demography or education. You probably want to look at the question most people passed or the question most people failed, right? And so let's look at this. Let's start off with this. Now, the first thing we will do here is we are going to import we're going to import a package called statistics, right? So we're going to say from statistics, and we are going to import mode, and we're going to be working with this, right? So we have this is the mode model, right? So we have this already. Now the next thing we're going to do is we are going to create a list. So we're going to call that list data underscore numbers. Now inside this, we are going to just pick a set of random numbers, and then we're going to look at it. So you can see this, we have this, right? With this, we want to know, so here, this is a list with numbers. And so here, what we're going to do is we're going to use the mode. We're going to calculate the mode with this. So here we calculate, sorry about that, we calculate the mode. Now to do that, we just basically going to, create a variable, call this data underscore mode. And inside of it, we are going to say call mode, which is basically that returns the most common data point from discrete or nominal data. And so what we're just going to put there is data numbers. And then we're going to ask that we find out our mode. So we're going to print this out. And so to make it look okay, we just use an F string and say the mode of the list is, and obviously we are going to put this in curly braces, and we're going to say data mode, because in it lies our example. So basically you had the mode of the list is 9. Now let's put it in context, right? Let us look at a data set. So let's look at a data set. We already have our data frame. So we have our data affairs data frame. So we're just going to read the first 5 rows, right? So here is the first 5 rows. And so you can see we have different features here. We have affairs, we have unnamed. So that's a weird one. So, but yeah. And so let's just quickly do a little bit of cleaning. Let's drop this column. So let's drop the unusual column. Right. So we're just basically going to call data affairs, and we are going to say drop, open brackets, the column we are going to drop, and the column we're going to put it in a literal string, in a literal. And so here we are, and then we put a comma in place as true. So that means it is, it's committed to memory. And so right, so if you look over here, we have data affairs dot head. Yes, so we've done a little bit of cleaning, and so that's what we have. Now what we want to do is we want to find the mode. So let us find the value, the value that the most common occurrence of value, or in gender, the most common occurring gender. So here, find the most common occurring gender in our data affairs data set or data frame. Yes, so we call this gender. Now to do this, we already have our mode. I will create a data frame, and I'm going to call this gender underscore data. And inside, I am going to put a series inside of it. So I'm just going to say data affairs. Then I create an index for gender. So that's what's it's in here. Next is I'm going to find the mode. To do that, I'll basically say call this mode underscore gender, which is a variable, and I'm going to call mode, open brackets, and I'll put the data inside of it. So you see that here it is. So we have found that, and then I'll print, and again, just like I use an F string just to make it readable, and I'll say the most occurring gender is, and a curly bracket, and what we're going to have is mode underscore gender. So the most occurring gender in our data affairs data set with the feature gender is what? Is female. That's exactly what it is. And you want to be sure what it is, we can simply check our value counts by saying mode gender underscore data, because the gender underscore data has got this in it. So I'm just going to basically say the value count, and so the value count is just going to look at all the elements inside, and it's going to count it. And yes, look at it, females 315, males 286. So you see what this is. So interestingly enough, we've looked at what we have, and yes, of course, the mode can have some limitations. In a situation where we don't have modes, for instance, if we have a data set that are all there, how are we going to do that? But I mean, there can be data sets with no mode, right? And of course, the mode may not always represent the center of the data, especially if you have a skewed distribution. But yep, this is what we have here. So take your time and watch this video in our statistics playlist, where we explain mode with Python.